friend. How are you?
I am great.
Ooh, that's a good... And she's got some booze. This time last week seems like it was yesterday, and now we're back here. I can't believe this is where we are already, but here we are.
I know, the weeks seem to go by so fast.
I know. Hey, by the way, hey everybody. Welcome to yet another week, almost the end of January 2022 episode of Case Files with Kat.
And Ashley.
Yes. So what are you drinking, my friend?
I'm drinking a mini little bottle of Corbel champagne in my office for no fucking reason. I'm just drinking champagne. It's a Tuesday. Yeah, it's one of the ones I got when I joined the board of that networking group.
That is so great.
Oh, it's so cute.
That is really cute. And I'm being attacked by a cat right now. Currently being bitten by a cat right now. Ow! Louie! So, I'm sad to say I did not make it completely through a dry January, but it certainly hasn't been a soaked January.
Did you start drinking after the last time? Because you had stopped after the client thing.
I started once you break the chain, it doesn't work. Anyway, so my December was a soaked December. I've had, let's say, a damp January. Okay. So I've been getting on my echelon at 4:30 in the morning. I'm doing at least 30 minutes. I've lost six or 7 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So I'm rocking my 1 or 2 beers, that's how I started one. So that may be why I'm a little bit today. Well, and I have another one back up.
Since your background's blurred, I feel like I'm already drunk. Because when you move, it leaves a trail, and so it's woo! This is why we don't do videos.
Oh, here, I won't blur. I had this on for the board.
No, it's cool. Board. It's just I'm just saying the effect of it makes me feel like I'm already drunk.
Okay, there you go. You can see all the Lego figures in all their glory behind me. Yes, we do a lot of Lego in my house. Lego. Anyway, so tonight I'm drinking. You had your champagne. Yeah. And I am drinking a Smash and Grab IPA. And this is from out of Arlington, Texas, Legal Draft, which I really do like theirs. Yeah, I really do like all of their beers, but I like their
play on words with stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cute. I love it.
Man Goes Free, which is one of the best mango beers I've ever had in my whole life.
I think it's hung jury Hefeweizen. I don't remember the exact term, but it's something like that, and I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So anyway, what? You have some news about our podcast for us.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if anyone is familiar with Listen Notes, it ranks podcasts by genre type, true crime, comedy, whatever. And I had seen someone talking about Listen Notes, and I was like, what is this? And I went to it, and yours truly, Case Files with Kat and Ashley, is in the top 10% out of over 2 million podcasts on Listen Notes. I added a little thing to our website.
That is so cool.
It's almost 3 million. And anyways, we're in the top 10% for true crime. I don't know how that happened, but thank you guys. We love you.
I'll take it. Exactly.
I will take it. I love it. So, yes.
Thank you all so much, because literally you keep listening week after week, even though we have a crazy amount of technical gremlins and illnesses, and we have full-time jobs and a producer who's producing not voluntarily. So yes, it means so much to us. Now go write a review.
Yes, a positive one. Thanks.
They're so bossy. That's what the
they're so demanding.
Help us get into like the top 5% in 2022. Yeah. Yes, Queen. Yes. Anyway, that's awesome. I'm so excited about that.
Me too.
So do you want to do the question of the week? Do we have any other news that we need to share before we
just no voicemails this week, but shout out to Janet for letting me do a tarot card reading after our last episode. So that was fun. If anyone else wants one, I can't promise you it will be professional, but I'll do it. But also we had a lot of people go after the episode and answer the question of the week. So I just want to say that even if you hear the episode at a later time, always feel free to go back because we love reading the answers, even if we've already done the episode. That's all I have to say.
And so can people reach out to you if they want a unprofessional, but how about what is it?
Kind of professional, like a medium professional tarot card reader.
I am being bitten by a cat. Like, I'm not kidding you. This cat is like biting me.
Oh, poor kitty.
Not just when cats' eyes get all wild and like the pupil gets like big, like they're on coke. And there's like, and the whiskers go in. All the cat owners out there, they know. Okay, so question of the week. Yes. Shall we? Okay, using predictive text, this is the question. Using predictive text, finish this sentence. My spirit guides told me, and then hit the button.
So mine is so weird because I don't remember ever using one of these words in a text message. Ever.
Oh my.
But it says, my spirit guide told me that ye would have been great to me when you were in school. I've never texted the word ye to anybody, but I guess my phone is taking it back to like Renaissance times.
He would be like, spell it.
Guide. Y-E. Like ye, like, back in
ye.
Like in the Renaissance, ye. Yeah. My spirit guide told me that ye would have been great to me when we were in school.
You got to say it with like the accent. I thought it was he, and you're saying it with
ye, Y-E. I don't have an accent. I don't know how to. I don't have the country accent.
Photo time like they have at the Renaissance Fair. We go there every year. The photo booth where you go and you dress up in costume and you can get the sepia. Yeah, we do that every year. I love that place. Okay, getting the kids to pose and whatever. It's such an awesome snapshot in time. Like these kids, they love it. Okay, so here's mine. Are you ready? It pisses me off a little bit.
Okay, good. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm here for it.
My spirit guide told me that you are not too busy to be in a relationship.
All right, then. I don't know what kind of conversations you're having over there, but...
So my spirit guide is talking to you. That's bullpucky.
Well, my spirit guide is from the Renaissance and says, whatever relationship you're referring to is obviously in school. Now I'm very old and not in school anymore, so time has passed.
You need to go back to school. No, I'm kidding.
Ship has sailed.
Okay. Okay, I can't wait to... I saw a few of the answers.
There are tons of good answers.
Well, some of them I stopped reading because I wanted to laugh, but some of them are super funny. Okay. All right, here we go. So tonight, I don't have any trivia or facts. I do have, however, a long story, so I'm just going to kind of get into it. And I am not doing a murder.
I know. It's so crazy. Go on.
I can hear Janet celebrating right now, like, yay!
When I saw the topic that you were going to do, I was like, she won't ever participate in doing this with me, but she's going to talk about it. Okay. Nope, not going to say I will now. I don't know. I get like my insides are like, yeah. And they're like, no. It's one of the few. It's one of the few things that didn't get destroyed in the flood, by the way. So I still have it.
That's because it's impossible to destroy.
Okay. I'll let you continue. I'm done.
Okay. So I am actually going to talk about the history of the Ouija board.
Woo! Yeah.
Well, and a little bit about spiritualism as well, but you guys, those of you who've been listening since the beginning, I think Ashley in season 2, you got the Ouija board. I'm pretty sure it was season 2. And I was like, nope, not in my house. Don't bring it in the studio. No. So I did all this research on it. So here we are. We're going to talk about the Ouija board. And I'll touch back on whether or not I will do it later. Anyway, so we all know that the Ouija board, also known as a spirit board or a talking board, is a flat board. It has letters, all the letters of the alphabet. It's got the numbers 0 through 9 and the words yes, no, hello, goodbye, along with the graphics and the symbols and all this kind of stuff. It uses a little piece of plastic on little pedestals called a planchette, heart-shaped. The older versions were wood. The Hasbro version was plastic that I had. I don't know what version you have.
It's plastic.
Is it plastic as well? So, and then, so it's a little movable indicator, a little heart shape, and the point is supposed to go to the letter that you want, and it spells out a word that during your seance, I'm doing like mad air quotes right now, seance. So you'll spell out like, this is how the spirit is supposed to be talking to you. So participants are supposed to place their fingers on the planchette, and it's going to spell out the words of whatever the spirit's trying to say. So Ouija is actually a trademark of Hasbro, but is often just generically like Kleenex, Band-Aid. That's the name. It may not be a Kleenex. It might be a Puffs, but it's still a Kleenex. You know what I'm saying? Like in Texas, you want a Coke? We got Pepsi.
I actually did not know that there were different brands, I guess. I mean, I knew there were different boards, but I didn't know there was not officially by that name, I guess.
So all talking boards or spirit boards are just called Ouija now. They're like, it's just the Ouija board. That's it. It doesn't have to be that brand.
Okay.
So
I thought you were saying only Hasbro could call it that.
That is the trademark of it, but it's like, you may have Welby Band-Aids, but see, I said Band-Aids, but you call it a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Not a fabric adhesive or whatever.
I'm with you.
Right? Okay. It's not Puffs Plus. It's still a Kleenex,
Yeah.
That's just the name. There is a popular belief that the word Ouija comes from the French and German words for yes, oui, and yeah. But it has been said that the name is taken from a word that was spelled out on the board when its inventor asked a supposed ghost to name it.
Ooh.
So there's that. So let's talk history. Dum-ba-dum. All right. So the use of Ouija is also considered a type of automatic writing, which I did not know. I did not know that this is like the basis of how it came about. There used to be a way to use a planchette that had a hole in it where a pencil would go. And so that's the automatic writing tool. So they're not actually holding the pencil, they're using the planchette to move the pencil. So it's really similar. So one of the first mentions of the automatic writing method being used, the same method that the Ouija board uses, was found in China in 1100 AD in historical documents of the Song Dynasty. That's crazy to me. There's like drawings of it and stuff.
Yeah. That's cool.
So the method, sorry, I had to take a drink. The method was known as Fuji. Am I pronouncing that right? I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's how it's spelled. And that was a method of planchette writing. That's the definition, or spirit writing. And so it used a suspended sieve or tray with the hole that the pencil would go into. And that's the stick which writes the Chinese characters in sand or ashes. The use of the planchette writing as a means of a means of necromancy, which is the communion with the spirit world, and albeit under spiritual rituals and supervisions, was a central practice of this Song dynasty practice. And it was forbidden until the Qing dynasty, Qing. So it was forbidden up until this point. So
yeah.
As a part of the spiritualist movement, mediums began to employ various means for communication with the dead. So following the American Civil War in the U.S., mediums did significant business in allowing survivors to contact their lost relatives. The Ouija itself was created and named in Baltimore in 1890, but the use of talking boards was so common that by 1886, a full 4 years before the Ouija was even trademarked, in 1886, there was spiritualism camps in Ohio using talking boards already. In 1886, President Grover Cleveland was in the midst of planning his in-house wedding at the White House. And a witch board, they called it a witch board at this time, before Ouija, a witch board was sent to him as a wedding gift. And
what a good friend.
What a good friend. Here's his acknowledgement. And this is fucking classic. Quote, "I acknowledge with thanks the witch board which you sent me as a wedding present. I accept it as an evidence of kind feeling and friendship and can admire it for its ingenuity, but I hardly think that I shall immediately test its power to disclose the past and forecast the future." So he's like, thanks, but no thanks. So, although President Cleveland never exercised the powers of the witch board while in the Oval Office, the media coverage alone and his response springboarded the popularity of Ouija everywhere. So, how it became famous. So, businessman Elijah Bond had an idea to patent a planchette sold with a board on which the alphabet was printed, much like all the previous existing boards. So Bond filed on May 28th, 1890 for patent protection and thus credited with the invention of the Ouija board. But the issue date didn't come until the 10th of February, 1891. And he was an attorney. He was an inventor of a lot of other objects. But this was like, oh man, everyone's doing this. They're making their own thing. Let me just do it myself. So this is how it came about. So not many people know about one of the people who actually made the Ouija she helped get it patented. And aside from President Cleveland's unintentional press that he got for that wedding gift, we can thank Helen Peters Noseworthy as for a large chunk of why we know what the Ouija board is. And not many people know about her.
I've never heard about her.
Yeah, she actually accompanied her brother-in-law, Elijah Bond, headed to the patent office, talk with the talking board in hand. And to no surprise, clerk after clerk after clerk refused to grant the patent on this unordinary object because they were like, it's a board, right? Like they didn't think it was anything special. Finally, they reached the chief patent clerk. So he says, I don't know you and you don't know me, if you can tell me my name using the talking board, I will issue the patent. So Helen, who even Elijah said was a very strong medium, she used the board, told the clerk his name, and the patent was issued.
Damn.
Mic drop, right? It has been said, though, that months later, Helen asked the board what it would like to be called, and it spelled back Ouija, Ouija. And when she asked what it meant, the board spelled out GOODLUCK. Good luck. Fuck that. Bye. Nope. So with that, the most famous talking board, Ouija, was introduced in 1890 by the Kennard Novelty Company. And from here, the world of Ouija truly exploded. So where Helen had the seance to ask what it should be named, that building is still standing, and it's actually a 7-Eleven in Baltimore.
What?
Yes, at 529 North Charles Street. There's a plaque. It has a plaque.
But it's a damn 7-Eleven now.
It's a 7-Eleven.
Should have been a historical building. Like a coffee place where you could just go and use boards. Like, that's just what it should be. I want to accept that it's a 7-Eleven.
It's a 7-Eleven. They should put a table, just one table in there with one board, 2 chairs.
Middle of the gas station.
Middle of the 7-Eleven. Who needs an icy machine? The spits up the Slurpee or whatever, right? All right. Okay. But as the board's popularity and profit increased, most of the early investors sought to highlight their role in the creation of the Ouija board. But Helen Peters wanted nothing to do with it. Nothing. Because when some Civil War family heirlooms went missing from the Peters' home, she asked the Ouija board who had taken them. And according to her grandson, the board indicated a member of the family. So half the family believed the board, and the other half said bullshit, including Helen. The event created a conflict that was never resolved, and it tore the family apart. And after the fight, Helen sold all of the stock in her company, and until her dying day...
That is crazy.
Until her dying day, she said... She was telling everyone who would listen, don't play the Ouija board because it lies.
So not that it didn't work, it lies to you.
Not that it's bullshit. It lies because demons lie. We all know that. Mm. We all know that. So anyway, continuing on with the Ouija history. Okay. So Elijah was the person who got the patent. Well, Elijah Bond, one of his employees, William Fuld, Fuld. That's a really hard name for me to pronounce. Fuld. I don't know. Doesn't roll off the tongue.
Sounds good to me.
So he took over the board production, and in 1901, Fuld started production of his own boards under the name Ouija. So he kind of co-opted it, right? So Charles Kennard, the founder of Kennard Novelty Company, which manufactured Fuld's talking boards and where Fuld had worked as a varnisher, claimed he learned the name Ouija from using the board and that it was an ancient Egyptian word meaning good luck. So he totally changed the story.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So when Fuld took over the production of the boards, he popularized the more widely accepted etymology that the name came from a combination of the French and German words for yes. So whether it's Helen saying this is what the board told me, or Fold having these two different stories. We don't really know. But what's kind of accepted as a true etymology of Ouija is that it is what was spelled out to Helen. And that it, like, the original story is what is believed, not this like Egyptian word or whatever. Like no one's paying attention to him. But the Fold name became synonymous with the Ouija board because he reinvented its history. And like it was on a lot of the old boxes, you know, like by William Fold, you know, brought to you by William Fold. Like it's on some of the old boxes. The strange talk about him like being the inventor of it kind of was taking hold, but there was so much uncertainty about it. No one's really paying attention. The competitors, because there were at this point a lot of people. Even Aleister Crowley like was trying to come up with a board to rival it, and any board that came after just failed. Like, you know, there was a patent already on it, so there were all of those hurdles. But anything that came out after or tried to be different or have a different name just went away. Everything went away. It was the Ouija board.
Yeah,
that was it. But the real heyday of the Ouija board was the 1920s. So post World War II, the Ouija was so extremely popular. There were advertisements, there were posters. This is the time that was like when the Ouija was really a parlor game. It was really just for fun. There was nothing sinister about it. Go. What?
I was going to say that's interesting since tarot cards were used to be for entertainment only.
Yeah.
And now you're saying that was for entertainment only. And now both of these kind of like are used to not necessarily predict, but answer questions about things that are happening in life.
Yeah. And there are some people who were like, yeah, it's just for fun. And then there's the people who are like, no, it's for real.
It is for real, guys.
It's for real. Right. So anyway, so, now I lost my place.
I'm so sorry.
At one point, the board was sold for $1.50.
Oh, shit.
$1.50 a pop. It was a wooden piece with the board. So it like sold like hotcakes. $1.50 for a piece of wood is like unheard of. And
that will tell your future for sure.
I mean, or the past.
Yeah,
answer some questions for you. So, and while to the public, it seemed as though the manufacturing companies had a smooth ride to success. There was a feud brewing in the interim. At the time, William Fold and his brother Isaac were producing the Ouija until the two began to butt heads, leaving the family no choice but to part ways. Poor things. Oh.
Why didn't they just ask the board what to do?
In the meantime, Isaac produced his own iteration of the board called the Oriole board. Baltimore Orioles. Ugh. While both William fought long and hard to hold sole ownership of the Ouija name, the two battled in court for many, many years. Many years. On February 24th, 1927, while overseeing the replacement of a flagpole, Mr. William Fold was tragically killed by complications from falling from the roof of his 3-story Federal Street factory. He suffered a concussion of the brain. This is a quote: concussion of the brain, 5 fractured ribs, a broken arm, a fractured leg, and numerous cuts and bruises. An employee who witnessed the fall rushed him to the hospital where he later died from one of his broken ribs piercing his heart. His
How did he
words
fall from the roof? He just fell?
Yeah, people do that all the time, dude.
just fall randomly from the roof?
It's slanted. It's not like a flat roof.
I mean, I thought you were talking like, I don't know. I thought you were talking about like he was on the, like just walking around the roof of a building or something, and like
he just like jumped off.
Just saying. Anyways, continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
I watch kids on the roof. I'm like, oh God, get off the roof. Old person. His words on his deathbed to the rest of his family. Don't tell Ouija.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I feel like that's how he would say it.
What great final words.
Don't tell Ouija. Those are his final words. But despite his dying words, the Fold family did just that. And in 1966, Parker Brothers began manufacturing the board in Salem. It even outsold Monopoly in 1967. I sent you a picture of this lady in 1967 holding the boards. I was like, see, it's so popular. Great. It was such a fun family game. It was a family game.
It still could be a family game, but, you know.
It is not when you're summoning demons. All right. The Fold family remained divided far past the lifetime of the brothers. 96 years of separation and silence. 96 years. Until one day, a man named Robert Murch reopened the long closed family book. He had seen the name William Fold on the side of a Ouija box and decided that the Fold family tree was a great place to start for learning more about the board. And he was an avid collector. So Robert Murch began contacting all sides, all the grandchildren's of the Fold grandchildren, and to learn. He wanted to learn the history of the Ouija from their perspective. And there was lots of back and forth, but he really helped to build that bridge of communication and kind of brought them back together as a family for the sake of Ouija. He found great success in doing this. He even attended their family reunions. He was given as a gift the pocket watch of William Fold that he had on his body when he fell off that roof. The hands were stopped at the time of his death.
Oh, shit.
Damn. What a gift, though, right? That's crazy.
I don't know that I want a dead man's watch, but you know.
Yeah, but if you're like a collector of Ouija, isn't that the ultimate?
I guess so, yeah.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. So Robert Murch, M-U-R-C-H, not like merchandise. But it fits either way. But Robert Murch serves as the chairman of the board for the Talking Board Historical Society. It's a thing.
What?
He founded it.
How do I get on that board?
Okay. Talking Board Historical Society. It was his idea to bring together this group of talking board enthusiasts. So with so much to share about the history of Ouija, they decided to open up the Salem Witch Board Museum, which is located where else but in Salem, Massachusetts.
We need to go on a road trip.
I was like, I would fucking go there. I sent you pictures. So there's, it is a tour through time. They've got from the earliest ones, even like the knockoffs are there, and they have them all encased in glass, and there's some hanging on the wall. There's some like really interesting, but the guy who like runs it, he's the treasurer of the society, but his grandmother used to just by herself play Ouija. Don't do that. But that's how he learned about Ouija boards, and it's just sitting way up there at the top above everyone else's board.
I just want you to know while you're talking about this, so the lights in my office are motion censored, and the one in the middle part of my office keeps going on and off. And I'm sitting in a different part of the office, so I just thought I would share that with you.
Oh, God. Can y'all send some white safety light towards Ashley.
It'll be too late by the time everyone else hears this episode.
We don't have a protection candle.
I do.
Light
I just don't have
protection candle.
It's on the other side of the room with the lights flickering. I'd have to run through that room to get the candle. It'd be like one of those found footage videos. Like you would see me run off to go get the candle, and then it would just end. Like I would never come back.
I wouldn't go look for you either.
I got you. I got so sidetracked. I'm so sorry.
Like that.
So sorry. I just thought it was weird that it was flickering during your story because it's been fine all day long, and now it's just randomly going on and off by itself.
I tell the haunted story. I tell the fucked up stories that curse our episodes.
And my office, apparently.
At least this is recording. Okay.
Oh, man. I can't believe we're in the top 10%.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay, now that we're all caught up on Ouija Board.
Everything but the story. Yes, go on.
But Kat, how does the Ouija board work?
Yes, how does it work?
I'm crying over here. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Well, there's more than one answer if you're open to hearing all of them. Because if you're a skeptic about all things paranormal or spiritual, Jason, then you won't believe it's ghosts. Paranormal and supernatural beliefs associated with the Ouija have been criticized by the scientific community and are characterized as, quote, pseudoscience. The action of the board can be most easily explained by unconscious movements of those controlling the pointer. It's a psychological phenomenon known as the ideomotor effect. I don't like that there's a name for it. Damn.
Yeah.
Ideomotors, which means like idea and motor. So it's like, even though it's in your brain, it's like movement that you don't know is in your brain. Anyway, with the rise of spiritualism in the 1840s, mediums devised and refined a variety of techniques for communicating ostensibly with the spiritual world, including table turning and planchet writing boards, which was the precursor, as I said, to the Ouija board, which is with the pen and the planchet. So these phenomena and devices quickly became the subject of scientific investigation. They were going to prove them wrong. The term ideomotor was first used in a scientific paper discussing the means through which these spiritualistic phenomena produced effect. It was written in 1852. 1852. So the Ouija didn't come out really until 1890. That was like the official board came out. So in 1852, William Benjamin Carpenter wrote the study. So it's also called the Carpenter effect. So in the paper, Carpenter explained his theory that muscular movement can be independent of conscious desires or emotion. The ideomotor effect is basically us moving when we're trying not to move. If you've ever experienced the sudden feeling of jerking awake from sleep, known as the hypnic jerk, you've experienced a more abrupt version of the ideomotor effect. Your brain signaling your body to move without your conscious awareness. So the obvious difference, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that happens to me a lot, like when I'm sleeping.
Same, girl. Same. But this also happens to me when I'm awake and I'm in like spasm mode.
I just guess I didn't know there was a term for it, so that's very interesting to learn because I didn't know that was like an actual like term. I guess
hypnic jerk. Yeah, when you're trying to fall asleep. Yeah. So the idea that your body can move even without you wanting to, like people who have seizures or who have tremors or anything like that. Like, it happens to me all the time where I'm like, I'm not trying to do this, but my body is shaking, like I'm trying not to do that. And it doesn't. Anyway, so the obvious difference between the ideomotor effect happens when you're awake. So the reflexive movements you make are much smaller. They're not like the hypnic jerk where you're like, whoa, I'm awake. They're just a smaller version of it. So in the case of a Ouija board, your brain may unconsciously create images and memories when you ask the board questions. Your body responds to your brain without you consciously telling it to do so, causing the muscles in your hands and arms to move the pointer to the answers that you, again, unconsciously may want to receive. So there are multiple scientific studies that have shown various instances of the ideomotor effect in action. In one well-known and oft-repeated variant of the Ouija board test, blindfolded participants spell much more incoherent messages. So if you were blindfolded, what would the board be telling you?
Oh, shit.
So you can try that at home since you have the board.
If only someone would do the board with me.
You have another person living in your house. So the Ouija board came straight out of the American 19th century obsession with spiritualism. This was a huge thing. So there were so many people who were getting super famous for doing these sort of parlor tricks. The belief that the dead are able to communicate with the living was very widely believed. Spiritualism, which had been around for years in Europe, hit America really hard in 1848 with the sudden prominence of a group of sisters named the Fox Sisters in upstate New York. Now, I will do a separate story on the Fox Sisters because they really deserve their own story, but they catapulted spiritualism in the United States. The Foxes claimed to receive messages from spirits who rapped on walls or in the floors in response to their questions. And so they recreated all of this in different theaters, in different homes. They traveled the country doing this. So that they were like the first people. Aided by the stories about the celebrity sisters and other spiritualists in the new national press, spiritualism reached millions of people at its peak in the second half of the 19th century. Spiritualism worked for Americans. It was compatible with Christian dogma, meaning one could hold a seance on a Saturday night and have no worries about going to church on Sunday and praising the Lord. You could do both. It was acceptable, even wholesome, to contact spirits at seances through automatic writing or table turning, in which participants would place their hands on a small table and watch it begin to shake and rattle, while they all declared that they weren't the ones moving it. The movement also offered solace in an era when the average lifespan was less than 50. Women died in childbirth, children died of diseases that they don't die of anymore, men were dying in wars. Even Mary Todd Lincoln, wife of President Lincoln, conducted seances in the White House after their 11-year-old son died of a fever in 1862 during the Civil War. During the Civil War, spiritualism gained adherents in droves, and people desperate to connect with people they had lost who'd gone away and would never come home. So that people just wanted to connect with all of those lost loved ones. The popularity of talking boards and their use as a tool to exploit grieving war families meant scientists actually started studying the ideomotor effect well before the Ouija board and the planchettes were patented in 1890. So the ideomotor effect existed, like I said, in 1852, like so far before Ouija boards ever came out. But over the years, research has determined that the ideomotor effect is closely tied to subconscious awareness, and that its effect is maximized when the subject really believes that they have no control of their movements. So it takes, you're like, I am really not moving it, to actually move it. The more you believe that you're not moving it is when you actually move it more.
Weird.
So it's really crazy. This is where the Ouija board's triangular pointer comes in. The planchette makes it easier to subconsciously control your muscle movements because it focuses and directs them even while you believe you aren't in control of them. It's also why the planchette seems to move even more effectively when multiple people are using the planchette at once. It frees everyone's minds to subconsciously generate creepy Ouija board answers together. If there's a bunch of you moving it and not believing you're moving it, you're going to get some shit, right? The effect might also make the Ouija board an effective tool to help you tap into your own subconscious, Ashley. In one study published in 2012, scientists found that using the Ouija board allowed subjects to recall factual information with more accuracy than if they weren't using the board. Participants were instructed to answer a series of yes or no questions and to rate whether they were confident in their answers or merely guessing. Later, they were subjected to another round of questions, but used a Ouija board to indicate yes or no. Once again, rating their confidence level in their answers. In cases where participants believed they didn't know the answer, they were able to give more correct answers more often when using the Ouija board than when they believed they were only guessing on their own.
Okay, all I'm hearing is that we need to use my board. Like, you're not convincing me otherwise right now. The more you talk about in the story, the more I feel like we should be using the board.
Oh, God. So the researchers behind the study that have gone on to speculate that using the Ouija board as a technique to unlock subconscious knowledge could lead to insights about the early onset of Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. So see, it's for science. But there's a problem, right? Because since early in the Ouija board's history, it has been criticized by several Christian denominations. Several, not just the Catholics, but the Catholic Church. In the Catechism of the Catholic Church in paragraph 2116, it explicitly forbids any practice of divination, which includes the usage of Ouija boards. Also, a Roman Catholic Christian apologetics organization states that the Ouija board is far from harmless, as it is a form of divination or seeking information from supernatural sources. Moreover, Catholic bishops in Micronesia, I don't even know where that is, called for the boards to be banned and warned congregations that they were talking to demons when using the Ouija boards. In a pastoral letter, the Dutch Reformed churches encouraged its communicants to avoid Ouija boards as it is a practice related to the occult. The Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran Synod also forbids its faithful from using Ouija board, as it teaches that such would be a violation of the 10 Commandments. Like, not even saying you're talking to demons, you're breaking, there's 10 rules, you're breaking one of them. You're going to hell. That's it. I don't know which one that is.
What is that?
I just got a gummy. All right.
Oh. Like someone brought it, like you got it delivered to you?
I just got it delivered. I just got it.
Our producer does so many things.
He does so many things. Okay. So, all right. Ouija. We're breaking all the rules. Ouija board. It breaks a lot of rules. At a time when you weren't supposed to be alone with people of the opposite sex and people weren't supposed to be touching. Come on, we're talking, you know.
Yeah.
This is why the parlor games were invented, I guess. The Ouija board was built so that you put it on your knees and your fingers would touch. Scandal. So this was like the ultimate date game. The original directions. Oh. And now do you want to do the Ouija board with me?
Sure.
Ashley? Okay. The original directions would say that for best results, use with 2 people, lady and gentleman preferred, because they're homophobic. That's why men started to buy this for women.
No.
Sin alert, sinners, sin. This is why the Christians hated it so much. All right. So in 2001, Ouija boards were burned in New Mexico by fundamentalist groups alongside Harry Potter books.
Heathens.
I know. They're burning Harry Potter books because they were symbols of witchcraft. Well, I mean, they had witches in Harry Potter. Anyway, so religious criticism has also expressed beliefs that the Ouija board reveals information which should only be in God's hands, and thus it is a tool of Satan. All right, that's why. These religious objections to use of the Ouija board have in turn given rise to its popularity because the cautionary tales that the board opens a door to evil spirits turns it into a truth or dare game. I mean, just you say you can't do it. Now I really want to do it, right? Don't date that person. Oh, I'm going to date that person. Right? Okay. Last thing. I have one cool story. It is a cool story. So, there's one really interesting story, and there was a book called The Confidence Men, and it was written by Margalit Fox, and the New York Times did a review of it. Chris Jennings did the review in June of last year. So it is a riveting account. I'm going to read this. The Confidence Men, Margalit Fox's riveting account of 2 British officers who sprang themselves from an Ottoman prison camp during World War I using a Ouija board, sleight of hand, feigned madness, and vast stores of creativity is such a tale. Like the Odyssey, Fox's book is less about war than the winding path home. More than 12,000 troops were taken prisoner following the surrender. Many of the officers were transported 2,000 miles across present-day Iraq, Syria, and Turkey to Yozgad, a prison camp on the high Anatolian plateau. Among them was E.H. Jones, a Welsh philosopher's brilliant son who had been serving as a magistrate in Burma at the outbreak of the war. The camp, compromising adjacent houses formerly occupied by murdered Armenian families, was one of the most remote in the Ottoman Empire. In lieu of barbed wire, the prisoners were hemmed in by rugged mountains and a vast desert. Yozgad was considered escape-proof, Fox writes, the Alcatraz of its day. On a lark, Jones made a Ouija board from polished iron in an inverted jar. The hardships of war and a wave of magical new technologies, a phonograph, radio, flight, had renewed public interest in telepathy and the paranormal. It was a liminal era, Fox writes, poised at the nexus of the scientific and the spiritual. Jones, who had studied psychology at university and possessed an astounding visual memory, discovered that he could bamboozle his fellow officers, even blindfolded under close scrutiny. He found a perfect accomplice in C.W. Hill, a pilot of the Royal Flying Corps who had been raised on Queensland Ranch. Hill had been captured after his biplane was shot down in Egypt. Like Jones, he had a knack for secret codes and a willingness to risk his life for freedom. He also happened to be an accomplished stage conjurer. So so these two guys plan their escape using the Ouija board and all these crazy like theatrical hijinks. I know. I'm not going to keep telling you the story. Obviously, they don't ruin it for you in the review, but they do escape, and it sounds like a wild ride. So now I'm going to have to read it. I think it's what a perfect end to the whole history of the Ouija board. And so we talked earlier about whether or not I would do it now. There's part of me that's like, yeah, it's the ideomotor effect, right? Like that's what it is. And then I still have that old recovering Catholic. It's the devil. Can't do it. That kind of thing. But anyway, that's my short but long history of the Ouija board.
I think personally that was really cool because like I didn't know any of that actually. And it makes me love the board even more. So well, I don't know. I'm still on the fence about whether or not I'm going to do it. I know it's like my brain hole is like, it's just this. But then like,
I'll
ask the board if you should do it. You know?
All by yourself. Are you going to ask it?
Yeah, I'll ask it. Should Kat come and do this with me? And I'll let you know if it's a yes or no. And then I'll read the tarot cards and ask what they say about the situation.
The tarot cards were a little on point. I'm not gonna lie, they're a little on point.
They were very on point for Janet too. So
yeah, they were.
I think they would say you should do the board, but you know, again, I'm not professional. Right so.
Okay, I want to hear the answers to the question of the week.
Yes, we have some good ones. Okay. Dun dun. Okay. Laura says, my spirit guide told me that you will not have any more time for the rest and the next 2 days will work out great. Sarah said, my spirit guide.
Someone else's spirit guides are talking to you.
Sarah said, my spirit guide told me that last night I had to go with the boys was so sad. Marcella? Is how I think you say that. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. My spirit guide told me that I don't have any to do. That shit is still there for you, and you are the same as you can see. Woo! Some fire going on over there. No. My mom says my spirit guide told me that I love you too, baby. Ugh, that's probably to her husband because they're the grossest couple. They're always talking about how much they love
I love you. I love you too, baby. I love you.
They're so cute. Jessie does not have predictive text, but she said you got in response to the meme itself that talks about the age of the children. She says you got to start them young. Otherwise, how can they be cursed or haunted in their 20s by at least 10 demons and spirits?
Jessie.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Oh, you gotta come. You gotta come back on, Jessie. I miss you. Yes. Even if you're just here to have a beer with us.
Yes. Lori says my spirit guide told me that you are always welcome, and you are always so welcome. And then she said, "What in the world? I guess you are welcome."
Okay, I'm gonna be over at your house tomorrow. Okay.
Thanks, Lori. We're gonna keep that to heart. Noelle says, my spirit guide told me to call you when you are ready for your appointment. So I go to a lot of doctors or something.
Yes.
That seems like that was more guided to you. Kevin, my brother, says, my spirit guide told me to lose control of the situation. Oh, nope. All right.
No, don't lose control. Nope, never lose control.
Janet says, my spirit guide told me that I already have to go back and get a credit for the sole reason. Okay, then.
Oh, what's the sole reason?
And then Melissa says, my spirit guide told me that the last one was on my way to my mom's and my dad had said that they had a little baby fever. Ooh.
Oh,
Kat
goodness.
A different cat says, my spirit guide told me to be a good person. Good advice. That is solid advice.
See, they're true. It's true. It's true.
Stephanie says, my spirit guide told me that you are not doing anything right. And then she said, mine's mean.
Oh
Rude, Stephanie. Rude.
Rude.
We already know we're not doing anything right. Michelle says, my spirit guide told me that I am a government and a few minutes late. Alyssa says, my spirit guide told me to do it and I'm not okay. Alex says, my spirit guide.
My God.
I told you these were great. Alex says, my spirit guide told me it is the best thing for everyone to know. All right.
All right.
I do not know how to say this name. Ariella? Okay, I said that right?
I don't know. I'm not looking at what you're reading.
Well, I didn't know if you knew, like, right offhand. It's on your friend's on your profile. Maybe. I'm so sorry for pronouncing your name wrong if you're listening. It's a very pretty name. I just don't know how to say it right. It says, my spirit guide told me that I was a baby princess, and I was like, oh, wow.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I need to look that. Who is that? I need to look that up. I need to see who you butchered. Is it on my site?
Yeah, it's on yours. And then Gina says, my spirit guide told me that the one who knows about the other stuff was wrong. And then she says, ... who is it, spirit guide? I love being right. Amy says, my spirit guide told me that you are not going on this page. Chuck says, my spirit guide told me, Merry congratulations and hope your next weekend will be better. Kara says,
it is Ariel.
Okay.
That's funny. Okay.
Amy says, my spirit guide told me it was not going through my mind, so I'm sorry for the confusion. Lisa says, my spirit guide told me that I am not home to my life.
Oh, God.
Lillian says, my spirit guide told me to tell her to come back in here and she will always have a different way to help me with my heart. Aww. Berg? I don't know if that's right, but
yeah, Verge.
Verge. Okay, Verge says, my spirit guide told me that you were supposed to be in the park with us and we had a good time.
Oh, I'm sorry, Verge. I missed out on that.
Douglas says, my spirit guide told me dogs didn't want me in the house, but they were all over me when I was there. Love it. Love it. So those were all the answers between our page and yours.
Oh my God. I love it.
So good.
I love you guys so much. That just made my month. Those were so good. If you're listening to this now and you haven't answered, do it. Answer it right now. It's still funny. It still makes our day, our week, our month. I love it so much. Thank you. Those were so good. Those were so good. Now I can go back and read them and laugh at them all.
Yeah, and go back and read the one from the tarot cards because there's some new ones there too, I think. Anyway. You can always send us story ideas, question of the week ideas. You can leave us voicemails on our website, catandashley.com. You can leave us reviews there as well. Or, on one of the million platforms that we're streaming on. We love you all.
We're on all of them.
We're on all of them now.
Except for YouTube.
Yes, except for YouTube. My spirit guide said not to be on YouTube. I don't know what to tell you.
So I had a coworker tell me we need to be on YouTube because that's where he listens to podcasts. And I'm like, YouTube? That's like video. Like, that's where he gets this podcast.
Yeah, I'll ask the board about that too. I'll get right on that.
Oh, I love you guys. Thank you for seriously, thank you for listening.
Yes.
Week after week.
I think my story will probably, I don't know, be a disappearance. I know it's just shocking. I don't know. But most likely it probably will be. So if
I could do something different.
I did something different. I did tarot cards. Thank you very much. All I see is a black cat tail like waving in the background right now.
I'm getting lots of love bites.
Mm-hmm.
and he's licking my beer can. The condensation on the beer can. It's the thing. That's it. It's like his drug.
I see.
Hi. Oh, okay. So I don't know, those of you at home, if you know who Huggy Wuggy is. What game is it? Poppy? Or Puppy? Poppy Playtime. There's a character named Huggy Wuggy, and he looks like this.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. You should send that to me in a picture format.
That's terrifying. I don't like him. Can I have Huggy? We have a stuffed Huggy Wuggy. Can I take a picture of him? Yeah. All right.
I have the other drawing from that artist on my fridge right now.
He had so much fun making you that art.
Okay, well, it's on my fridge. So.
It's on your fridge. That's why.
Thank you guys. Even though we have children on our podcast, please don't let your children listen to our podcast. Please, we didn't say that to begin with, but we should always just give that as a fair warning. Don't let children listen to us, please.
Just a standing trigger warning, standing explicit content. Don't let standing. My children come in at the end or. Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's my kid. All right, everybody. Well, go and hug your children and
break out those boards. Ask them all the questions.
And you know what? Do a little experiment in your house.
Yeah.
Are you really? Be honest. Are you moving it? And if you think that you're not, blindfold yourself and see if it actually, record it and see if it actually moves. I think that's super neat. Yeah, do it. And maybe,
invite
just
them
maybe.
demons in and videotape it and send us the videos. We're here for it. You can come on the show as a co-host. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Thank you for listening. Help us get to the top 5% in 2022. Write us a review, share it, like it, listen, all the things. If you have a story to tell and you want to join us as a guest co-host, let us know. Glenn, I'm looking at you, buddy. Looking at you.
Glenn.
All right. I mean, even my husband knows Glenn. That's like, Glenn, you're one fan. You're one fan.
Oh, that's mean. That hurts. You tell him that hurts.
He's number one. He's number one in the UK because he messages us. All right. So we love you guys. See you next week. Stay safe. Please be kind to one another. And we're probably going to do disappearance next week. Bye.
Bye.